everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Good Tuesday morning to you from the beautiful Colorado Rocky Mountains. I am Shady. You are in the zone, and we are 7 days past the 2024 presidential election. Donald Trump won in a landslide, and the liberals have just went completely off the rails, batshit crazy. Um, I have been working on this for a couple of days now. Good morning, Papa's Farm. Good morning, Maria. How you guys doing? Hey, Loretta, how are you? I was working on this for a couple of days. I had this big script written out, all that stuff, and I don't know if y'all know this or not, but I hate going by a script. I really do. Um, and I was doing what I do the day before I usually do these live streams, and I was kind of pacing around, going through everything in my mind, going over things, and it was okay, but it just wasn't that great. And then a friend of mine, a subscriber to the channel, actually, thank you, Mr. T, sent me something yesterday afternoon, and I read this, and I said, you know what? This is absolutely perfect for the subject that's going on. And I want to read this to you guys. So hang on one second. Let me get there. Um, So I'm just going to read this. There's one or two bad words in it. So forgive me for that, but here we go. Democrats, if you're wondering why America voted for Trump, allow me to explain. The truth is, the American people are sick of your shit. You ruined our nation and our culture. You openly mocked, belittled, and discriminated us, then called us racist, misogynist Nazis when we started noticing. You defiled, you defiled and corrupted all of our great institutions, to include media, social media, tech, academia, intelligence, health, pharma, Hollywood, entertainment, sports, everything. You weaponized every aspect of American life and used it to push your insane far left agenda down our throats. You told us Trump was a Russian asset that was going to start World War III and would be worse than Hitler. Then you used that as an excuse to justify hatred towards Trump supporters and to riot in the streets. You use it as an excuse to obstruct and ruin Trump's entire first term. And it turned out it was all a lie. Then during COVID, you demanded we all be forced to take medical experimentation without testing. You wanted dissenters locked in prison. You wanted children taken from their anti vax parents. You wanted you wanted the anti vax in camps. You were rooting for our deaths. Then it turned out you were wrong about everything from the man made origin to the mask to the vaccines to social distancing to ivermectin to HCQ to natural immunity and every single thing in between. Then, during Ukraine, you told us that Ukraine was a bastion of democracy, and that they desperately needed all of our tax dollars. Then it turned out that Ukraine is one of the most corrupt nations in the world with a literal Nazi military force. It was actually just a money laundering operation to steal from the American taxpayer. You want to defend Ukraine's borders more than your own. You sent hundreds of billions of dollars to the other side of the planet while Americans are suffering, all based on more lies. Then there's the whole Epstein Diddy human trafficking element. You told us vehemently that human trafficking was a myth. You told us that the border was secure. You told us that anyone who questioned it was an irredeemable and deplorable conspiracy theorist and a piece of garbage. You said anyone who watched The Sound of Freedom was a QAnon extremist and a threat to democracy. Then it turned out to be true, and the elites really are engaged in unspeakable crimes against children. After you all told us for decades that it was not true, You covered up the most heinous crimes imaginable for political gain. I could do this for days, but I think you get the point. The American people are awake to the scam and to the true evil going on around us, and we are not going to stand for it anymore. So we rehired Donald J. Trump and his team of patriots to rectify the situation and bring America back to her greatness. This is the reality of the situation. You are the bad guys, and you have been deceived. The sooner you wake up to it, the sooner you can join us in repairing this nation. Or you can choose to deny reality and spend the rest of your lives consumed by hate, bias, and lies. The choice is yours. Signed, a true American patriot. Now that true American patriot was General Flynn, and I've never really liked General Flynn a whole lot, but I thought that letter, that statement, pretty much summed up the feeling of the country's right now. That the feeling the country has right now. I've been sitting around. I've been watching videos, watching the news. The news, the mainstream media is it's actually pretty comical right now how they are backpedaling, how they're just grasping at straws at anything that they can think of to make an excuse for Harris losing this election. When the truth of the matter is Harris was a bad candidate. Harris should have never been put in that position in the first place. They didn't have a whole lot of choice because they didn't have a whole lot of time, I guess. But I think what really gets me more than anything is all these videos that you see. They're popping up on Facebook, they're popping up on X, they're popping up on Instagram, Twitter. Well, Twitter is X, but TikTok. They're popping up on all these videos, and people are they're losing their minds. They act like they have gone absolutely off the deep end. And listen to me. If by some reason you are one of these people and you stumbled on this video, I got just a little bit of it. Just a little bit of advice for you. Okay. First of all, get out of your car, or for God's sakes, get out of bed. Because 90% of these videos, they're either in their car, beating their head up against the steering wheel or the dashboard, or they're laying in bed with probably a bottle of booze with tears streaming down their face. Look, first thing, get up out of bed. All right. Dry your eyes. Go take a shower for God's sakes. Get dressed. Go to work. Go to school. Go to whatever you do. Okay. Live your life. Nothing has changed. Okay. There, the end of the world is not here, regardless of what you may think, regardless of what you're seeing. Am I locked up? I can't tell. It looks like I'm locked up on one side. I just can't tell. We got a lot of load on the Wi-Fi this morning, so I apologize for that. If I am indeed locking up on y'all, I'm sorry. Um, but anyway, getting back to that, you know, you get these young people mostly. The young people I kind of understand because they just don't know no better. Um, it's the older ones that really bother me. But you get a lot of these young people and they are crying. I saw this one girl literally kick her TV off the TV stand and shatter it. This is crazy. Stop doing this. All right. Nobody is going to take away your so called right to murder your unborn baby up to 9 months. As a matter of fact, if you live in a deep blue state like Colorado, it's still okay up until 9 months. It's going to be part of the Constitution come January for you to do these things, for you to kill your unborn baby at 9 months. Okay. Nobody is going to take your rights away from you. All right. They- They're saying Trump is going to do a national ban on abortion when he has repeatedly said he does not want to do that. All the allegations about Trump being Hitler, about Trump being a fascist. My God, I am so just tired of it. Get on with your life. Wake up. Listen to me. You have been lied to. All right. Your leaders, your political leaders have lied to you. The social media has lied to you for 4 years. Well, longer than that, for 8 years. You know, all the things that Flynn said in that statement in that column are true. All this time, all they have done is lie to you. And yet you still believe the lie. And I made a statement just this morning, actually. I was responding to something. And I said at the end of it, you need to wake up. You need to understand what's going on. The conservatives right now are offering out a hand, an olive branch. They are the ones that are saying, we want to cooperate. They are the ones that saying, we want to unify. We want to work together to solve this country's problems. In the meantime, in the meantime, the left is they're still focused on Harris losing the election. I mean, I even heard the craziest thing yesterday that I think I've ever heard before in my life, where they want to go ahead and boot Joe out. Yep, let's hey McBean, how are you? Sergeant I'm sorry, I can't hardly read. Sergeant Sky Dog, Red Dog, how you guys doing, McBean? Um, they actually want to boot Joe out again. They want to install Kamala as president. And they're saying that they want to do this so Kamala does not have to certify the election that she lost. Okay. I guess that's as good of a reason. Hey, Katrinka. I guess that is a good of a reason as any, but that's not the reason. They've got something up their sleeve. They're planning something, I believe, anyway. All right. Let me see what I've got going on in chat. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. If you got a question for me, type it out in caps, and I'd appreciate that. I thank all of you guys for being here. Um, yeah, we're getting a lot of lag here. It looks like I do apologize, y'all. Um, good morning, Mary. How are you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. McBean. McBean, the left is still in shock that they lost. You cannot buy an election with Hollywood. No, you can't. I think that is one of the things that that's been going around too, is that maybe these people will have learned this time around that they can bring in, Oprah. They can bring in Beyonce. They can bring in Bruce Springsteen, Taylor Swift, all these celebrities. People are sick to death of that. Nobody's buying the crap that these people are selling. Okay. My advice to all the actors and entertainers that are out there, look, go do your thing. Entertain me. Make good movies. Sing good songs. Play good music. Stay out of politics. Okay. You're nothing more than a figurehead. Half of you don't have a clue what's going on. Half of you are just like the rest of the elite in this country that have so much money that inflation doesn't bother them. You know, these people stood up and they stood up and told us that the economy was great. It was fine. It was fantastic. In the meantime, people like you and people like me can barely afford groceries. People like you and like me are paying $5 or better a gallon for gas. These people are all immune to that. They don't have to live with that on a daily basis for the most part. You and I, we do. Um, saw something. Can't find it right now. McBean says the Avengers actors have ruined it for me. I will not be watching their movies. I've yeah, I pretty much went that way myself with well, McBean Disney owns it. So I mean, you can't expect much better. Of course they've went that way. Um there it is. The Avengers actors have ruined it for me. Yeah, the guy that plays the Hulk, I can't remember his name, Rufio or whatever his name is. The guy that plays Iron Man, these guys have went out of their way to wave that flag and champion that cause. Let me see. It's all right, Jim. Lag is fine with me. Sitting here in silence, listening to the with listening with ear pods. I'm sorry, I can't hardly see. While hoping my next door walks by. Been going through the venison fast, and the freezer looks a little bare. You need some more, don't you, Red Dog? Get some more meat in that freezer. Um, except for Chris Pratt. Maverick was that Chris Pratt? That was Thor, right? The guy that played Thor. That was Chris Pratt. I haven't heard anything about that guy. Um, Getting the rhinos out of Congress is going to be a daunting task for the Trump administration. Well, and that was part of the problem the last time, Papa, is he was up against a whole lot of rhinos. This time, I think it's going to be just a little bit different. This time, Trump has got some experience under his belt. This time, he knows that he needs to surround himself with good people because I can guarantee you, and it's probably the reason Flynn wrote that column, because I can guarantee you people, a matter of fact, I know people are lining up at Mar-a-Lago right now, wanting to see Trump, wanting some kind of position in the government right now. Flynn probably wants his old job back. That's just fine. Uh, Chris Pratt played Star Lord. Okay, all right, yeah, okay. Guardians of the Galaxy. I like the little raccoon in that. But these people are lining up outside of Mar-a-Lago trying to get some kind of position with the government. Trump has to be very, very careful about who he picks, and some of the picks that he has made so far. Oh my God. Um, I don't remember the guy's name, but he made this dude the border czar. He's a Marine, and this guy is. You think Kid Rock is American badass? This dude is American badass. This I saw part of an interview that he was doing. It was on a news clip, and the lady asked him. She says, "Well, is it possible that how is it possible that we can deport these people when they have families here?" And he's like, "It's real easy. Whole families can be deported if they want to go." I mean, this guy does not play. Hey, City Prepper, how you doing, Maverick? I don't know if I missed you or not, but good morning. Um, this guy does not play. He's not going to play. And there's a lot of governors. I'm sure the one that I've got here in Colorado is going to jump on this boat as quick as it docks. There are a lot of governors that are saying, "Oh, we're going to fight this. We're going to fight. If anything happens that's going to mess up our agenda, mess up our plan, we're going to fight the Trump administration on it." All right, bro, go ahead and do that. Fight it all you want to. There's one thing that you're forgetting. Actually, it's a big thing, and that's we the people. ICE don't need your help. Law enforcement does not need your help if they have the citizens on their side helping them with it. There's only so much that you can do to lock people, to chain people's hands and restrict them from doing their job. And I guarantee you, there is one thing that does worry me just a little bit is when these deportations start taking place. How much resistance is law enforcement going to get as they attempt to deport these illegals back to wherever they came from? I mean, you've got murderers, you've got rapists, you've got all kinds of criminals that have come across our southern border. You look at Aurora, Colorado, that ain't over. you've got Venezuelan gangs that have taken over apartment complexes, and you've got the government that is doing everything they can do to cover it up or say that it's not that bad. You guys know the story behind that. But you've got this type of people in the country right now, and I'm wondering how much violence there's going to be toward law enforcement when law enforcement comes in and attempts to do their job and deport these people back to where they need to be. Um, yes, Tom is going to kick ass and chew gum. Heard he was out of gum. Just saying. Yeah, this guy, he impressed me. I don't remember ever seeing the guy before, but oh, you guys just do some YouTubing or go on Fox News or Newsmax or something like that because they're still playing the clip where this guy's answering these questions. And I'm talking about he completely trashed AOC in some Senate hearing or something. I mean, he completely destroyed her. At the end of it, all she could say was, well, okay. And then they cut away from it. But he completely destroyed her in one of these congressional hearings or whatever was going on. Um, but listen to me. If you have accidentally gotten on this channel, look, there's nobody out there right now that is your enemy. There's nobody out there right now that wants to take your little rights away from you. You need to learn what rights actually are, but nobody wants to take your rights away from you. And that brings me to another video I was getting ready to do. Okay, so we won the election. We've got the House, we've got the Senate, we've got the presidency, and we've got about 2 years to get things done. Okay? New York, California, Colorado, Washington State, places like that are still deep blue. It is up to you and me to change that because until we change things on a state level, which is the thing that I cannot understand why people don't get. Until we change things on a state level, there's no way that we're going to make any kind of sweeping changes on a federal level. Because, like the abortion thing, all that did, when the Supreme Court made that decision, all that did was hand the power to the states, give the people the power, let them vote on it. Prepping artist Kelly Rambo, good morning. How you doing? All that did was give them the power. These people act like they want the government to control their lives, to tell them everything that they need to do in every aspect of every part of their lives. They act like that's what they want. And yet they scream and yell and cry and bash their heads into steering wheels. They kick their TVs out because they think it's just the end of the world when it's not. Okay. So getting back to what I was saying, it is up to you. It is up to me. It is up to us to change our states now. And I have to tell you, we saw just a little bit, just a tiny bit of progress in Colorado over this past week with the elections and stuff. So there is hope, but this is not the time to stand down. This is not the time to sit down and say, yay, we won. It's all going to be all right now. No, now is the time that if you believe in America and what America has always stood for, if you believe in that, if you are a patriot, you need to not sit down, not give up, not stand down. You need to work now in your states, in your counties, in your cities. It's up to us, and we have to do this together. All right. Forrest says some people can't wipe their own behind. That is true. At least that's the way it seems. It seems like there are people out there that want the government to do everything for them, give them everything. I don't know about y'all. I grew up and I was taught You work for what you want. You work for what you get. You earn it. It's nothing. Anything that's given to you is not worth having. Hey, unless it's a Christmas present. uh, they never should have messed with those of us who wanted to be left alone. I couldn't have said that better myself. They should have never poked a bear that was sleeping in the corner. I am the type person, and I have said this before, I am really not a Republican. I am definitely not a Democrat, but I am really not a Republican. I am more of a very right leaning conservative libertarian. In other words, y'all, what you do in your home is your business. Okay. If you want to go to your house and put on a pink tutu and call yourself a woman and you're a man, you do that. You have fun with that. Don't take it to the school and do it in front of first graders. All right. Your story time ends. Don't do that. All right. As long as it doesn't affect my life, as long as it, do what you want to do. Be who you want to be. Live your life. Have a great time doing it. But I don't want to pay for your lifestyle. And I don't want to be part of your lifestyle. Okay. Uh, they called over half the nation all sorts of bad names. They didn't vote for them. Go figure. You know, that's what Flynn was saying in his letter. You've called us everything in the book. You've made Trump out to be the most evil thing that ever walked out of the pits of hell. And none of it is true. Not one part of it is true. But they started. The news media keeps cycling it through. And it's true. If you tell a lie enough times, people will believe it. So we've got over half the nation that has been brainwashed into believing that. All right, Red Dog, you're going to make me read, aren't you? I'm blessed enough to be able to hunt on my own land, provide my family and friends with delicious, healthy, non hormone injected meat. We have gardens for veggies, plus goats, chickens, eggs, and ducks. And Red Dog, that is the way to go. That is the way that our forefathers, our ancestors went. My grandparents were alive during the Depression. You know, even in town, we had things that we weren't supposed to have in town, like chickens. Um, my grandma, I can still remember my grandma washing aluminum foil and reusing it. And not only that, when Glad sandwich bags first started coming out, she would wash them out and reuse them. And, I got to admit it, I've never told anybody but Ducky Trump that to this day, I will still reuse Ziploc bags. It's just the way I am. It's the way I was raised. Um, but when they started messing with the kids, they drew the line. Yeah, they didn't just draw the line for us, they crossed the line. You know, your kids are your kids, and they are yours to raise the way that you see fit. 99% of people in this world do a good job raising their children, or at least they're out there in the trenches trying every single day. And every day we send our kids off to public schools to be brainwashed, and then they come home. It's our job to make sure that they stay on an even keel. You know what I'm saying? I literally saw a video that I think it was an eighth grader pulled out his phone and started recording his teacher, and his teacher was just going off on Trump being a Nazi and Trump being a fascist and Trump was Satan and Trump was Lucifer and this and that and the other. They pissed off the Amish in Pennsylvania and here in Ohio. Big mistake. Maverick, I'll be real honest with you. I didn't even know that the Amish voted. I thought they kept themselves outside of that part of society. I didn't even know they voted up until this year. But I am so happy that they did. I think it was a great thing to see the Amish turn out voting for Donald Trump. Maria, when it's time to buy shoes, there's no one else standing there. Yeah. Uh, exactly. Public schools equal indoctrination centers. That is exactly what they are. And I'll tell you something right now, colleges are even worse. So, right now, like I was saying, it is up to us. All right. We already voted the right person in. We have a chance to fix this country right now. But you and I, we can't give up. And I know I say this a lot, I harp on it a lot that we can't give up. And it's because I live in a deep blue state, you guys. In Colorado, the governor, both of the houses, everything is liberal in this state. All right. We are looking at right now, I said it a while ago, first of the year, they are going to add to the Constitution of the state of Colorado. They are going to add to the Constitution of the state of Colorado that it is perfectly fine for someone to murder their unborn baby up until the ninth month. All right. The first of the month, the first of the year in Colorado, you will have to be 21 years old to buy any type of firearm in this state. Beginning January the 1st. What else was it? Oh, beginning January the 1st, there is a massive new tax coming down on firearms and ammo. The way around that is to buy your stuff online. That way you don't have to pay the state tax on it. Kelly Rambo, thank you very much for showing up. My 15-year-old son was asking political questions the other day. I was happy. He wants to know the truth. And you know that it's like I said a while ago, when they ask us the questions, it's up to us. It is up to us. It's not up to a teacher at a school. It's not up to some talking head on YouTube or TV to tell our children how they should act. That is our jobs. And I got a brand new grandbaby supposed to be here in about 2 to 3 weeks. All right. Up until last week, it literally scared me as to what kind of world that baby was going to grow up in. I've got two other ones, bonus grandbabies right now. It worries me what they are learning in school. It worries me. It bothers me what they are being taught when they leave my house or when they leave their house and they go to a public indoctrination center and have to sit there for the whole day listening to people like this teacher that this kid had recorded on his phone. Um, McBean, if that's the case, then you should have to be 21 to enlist or get drafted, 21 to be able to vote. I totally agree with you, McBean. If you have to be 21 years old to go out and buy a hunting rifle or a shotgun, then you have to be 21 to vote. You have to be 21 to be in the military. Okay. If they need to make it straight across the line if they're going to do it. And we got kids right now, 17 years old with your parents' consent, that join the military, that go out there, that are trained how to use firearms. Come back to, and then they come back, they get out, and they can't even buy their own to go shoot a deer. You've got to be kidding me. That is what the state of Colorado is doing. And Colorado and California set the example. So we'll see how it goes. One of the things that fascinated me about this election, hang on a second, let me see what this is. Here in Idaho, we added to our Constitution that only U.S. citizens can vote. Seems silly, but had to protect it against future administration. You know what? That's a great thing because they're about ready to let them vote here in Colorado. So there's that. Red Dog says, I am old enough to remember that I was taught arithmetic in school, not math. Um, Mrs. Shady tells me a story all the time about her youngest brought home some math assignments, and Mrs. Shady is very intelligent. She knows how to do math or arithmetic, however you want to say it. So she was trying to help her daughter with some of her math problems, and she did it the old way. And her daughter told her, I can't do it that way. And she said, well, write it out, show them your work. She says, that's it. I can't do it that way. We have to do it a certain way. They've completely changed up math. I don't know. Oklahoma voted citizen only voting too. Man, I am so happy that you guys are getting that pulled off. And I don't think Colorado actually made any sort of decision on that one way or another. Polis is too busy right now trying to cover up Aurora, trying to cover up all the shady crap that his Secretary of State did during the election. And I'm still not letting that go, by the way. Mrs. Griswold, in case you happen to see the video, and I hope you do, I am not letting go of that at all, you know. And I don't know if I told this story or not, but back when Griswold was running for Secretary of State, she was running against a lady named Tina Peters. Tina Peters leaked out a password. I don't know what it was to. Tina Peters leaked out a password, and they went Hawaii 5-0 on her. I mean, they did a Mar-a-Lago on her. They arrested her and they threw her in prison, I believe, for 7 years for leaking this password. Jenna Griswold has passwords to voting equipment posted on her state website. And what does the governor do? He orders that it get fixed within 24 hours. And he offers the state plane, the state jet, to anybody that wants to volunteer and help get this fixed. And he said, this is the deadline. This is the line in the sand. I want this fixed by 6 o'clock tomorrow night, or whatever time he put on it. There was no talk of any kind of charges. There was no talk of making this woman step down. She got away with it. And she's got away with a lot of other shady stuff too. So I'm still waiting to see how that goes. But no. If you think I'm going to let go of that, you got another thing coming. You've obviously never met a Southern redneck before that digs his teeth into something. All righty. Hey, Rabbi Coyote, how you doing? So, guys, listen. The point of this whole live stream is quite simply, please don't sit down. Don't go grab a bag of chips and a beer and go sit on the couch, because this is not the time. This is just the beginning. All right. Trump got the job. Therefore, we got the job. And it's time to go to work, y'all. All right. So listen up. I want you guys to take care of yourselves and each other. God bless you. And until the next time, y'all stay shady.
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight. And these shields, boys!